Hey, folks, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Trigger Bois podcast, Darlene the FranXX. I am Vamp the Vampire. We have with us today Lucifer Lucy.
Whoa.
We also have with us Munzie.
I am a depressed sack of shit.
Oh,
Yep.
That's the internet on the whole. And that's also our boy, Mitsuru. He's the star of our episode today, and he's a
yes,
cool little
he
boy.
is.
He's an edgy little boy. Actually, I think he's gonna be one of my favorite characters of this series. I just love him. I love him so much.
You know, I might be with you there.
Oh, I disagree with both of you so strongly.
So, I liked this episode. I like this. I like this episode a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna talk about why. I mean, throughout I'm not gonna spill my guts like right here and now. That's you gotta watch the rest of the podcast for that.
Yeah.
We're only 2 minutes
Yeah,
in, but
yeah, folks, you got to watch all the way through if you want the good stuff. And I'll just to give you guys some hype. I'll say that this felt like a typical episode to me. So see, we already have conflicting opinions.
Oh, and I'm gonna throw one more egg into that basket. This might be my least favorite episode yet.
I'm so interested in hearing why that's the case.
We represent basically every opinion.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I feel like we should start
There's
with
so many
Lu-
role reversals here. I'm the Vamp
as
of
we
this
go
episode.
through this. I feel like we should hear what Lucy has to say, and then Vamp, and then me. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a good way to go through this episode. You know,
Sure.
tackling the different
on the fly structure. I'll
different-
take it.
different
Sounds pretty
takes.
good.
If that's all right with my co-host, that is.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So we start off this episode with Mitsuru, waking up from a nightmare or something, and he says that he has a monologue in his own head. You can't trust anyone. You can only rely on yourself.
Yes.
You'll get betrayed by other people. And that
Which is
just
a
is the thesis of the episode.
Yeah, it's a
that
really-
problem's going to be solved for him by the end. It's
It's a really
obvious.
dumb way of foreshadowing what happens later. We sort of get like this flashback, like slowly spoon fed to us. We only really get the full story about like 2/3 of the way into the episode or something. So I don't know if I should talk about that now or later, but I think we'll wait. This is dumb.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It's becoming very obvious in the series that, okay, this episode is dedicated towards this. And it makes sense to chop it up like that. Because
That's
it's
been
an
happening
episode-
for the past few episodes. We've had individual arcs, particularly about the different male characters. We had one dedicated, or at least some partner relationships. We had the Goro episode. We did have a Miku and Shota Boy episode, and now we have the Mitsuru and Glasses Girl, and also let's not forget we do have, though, to a lesser extent, we do have a fat boy and nice girl thing going on as well. So that is important to note.
Yeah. It's this episode is interesting in that way of involving.
But they've been
all
doing
these
that a lot lately,
characters.
and I don't like that structure personally, but
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
Oh yeah.
it just
It's
it's because they only just started now caring about the side characters when they should have been kind of, I feel like, at least giving us little bits to go off of from the get-go, and then have their own story arcs right now, you know?
Yeah, they were slacking in the beginning, and now they're hauling
They're
ass, as the
picking
kids
up they're
would say.
picking up their slack, which is not something they should have to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can structure a series, guys. You don't have to make this anime on the fly. I swear.
Yeah.
I promise. But that's just an open love letter to our A1
Love letter.
Yes, I care deeply about them. They're good people at heart. I hope so, at least. So after that, little foreshadowing. Um, there's a mission that the kids just completed a mission. Tends to jump around like that. Some missions just kind of blink by.
Yeah, I was actually
and
kind of impressed, to be honest, as far as this was the first thing that I liked about this episode. I was impressed in the context of Darling in the Franxx that it was like
Yeah,
we
important,
started we started
asterisks
this episode and they were like some enemies are showing up, and then Mitsuru passed out, and it was just cut to Mitsuru in the bed, and then somebody was like, "Thank God we could beat those monsters without him." And I was like, "That was nice. We didn't have to watch some bullshit fight. You know, we're just cutting to what's important. We're cutting to the chase, and I always appreciate that. I think that's good direction. You know."
Oh yeah, I appreciated that a lot. I actually found it funny because after that, I believe like either this was before or after, but at some point it was mentioned that the kids have been improving and that they got a high score of 25 kills in one day. A high score. They're keeping score.
Video games.
I actually thought that was really dumb because they have done nothing to prove to me that they have become better soldiers or good soldiers ever.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I
it's
didn't catch
just
that.
more of the same complaints for me, really. But so there's no.
We got
reason for
zero
me to
show
dwell
of
on
their
it, but-
tactics and the nuances of how
Yeah.
that would have changed. It's just like where the show's trying to. They think that we'll just assume that they've gotten better and we'll just take that at face value. And that's I hate when shows are saying bullshit.
Even though it clearly shows that at least their relationships is this episode is all about how their relationships is, or some of their relationships as co-pilots or partners.
They're pretty strained. They're
Yeah,
deteriorating.
they're not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely not good relationships.
That is a pretty big, juxtaposition, I guess.
Yeah, so the next scene is just Mitsuru wakes up. He go ahead.
Oh yeah. It is Mitsuru wakes up. So
Yeah.
I noticed in this scene, Mitsuru just wakes up, and while some of the doctors or whatever were looking over him, I saw on a tablet that it said that he's 9 years old. Is that
No.
real?
That was when he got his injection
oh.
that they were talking about. He was 9.
Yeah, the
when he got his-
injection that
They're
has
14
a 15%
or something
survival
like that
rate
right now.
I just vaguely remembered Vamp
Or
talking
16
about
or something.
accelerated aging or something.
Do
we not? Was
maybe
that not
8
a thing that
episodes
was in the
ago.
show? I don't know. I was
Maybe,
like,
yes.
he's 9, and then I was like, it doesn't matter. But I thought I'd video it up and see if it was real or not.
Oh yeah. So apparently, Mitsuru was a weak boy, fragile boy, and needed a boost. You know, he just needed to pop them
Yes.
drugs,
Yes.
as he did done
He's a drug boy.
in earlier episodes.
Our pill popping friend, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's edgy and pops pills. He just has a history of drugs here.
Mm-hmm.
The shows are showing themselves. Okay, this is my boy. I'm rooting for him. So yeah, that actually brings me to the next scene, which is the kids just revealing, that this injection he got boosted his piloting aptitude, and so he could
Boost.
be where he is now. Because he looked up to Hiro, our boy, our second boy, of course.
Oh, he does more than look up to Hiro.
He admired him, and he literally wanted to be like him and pilot FranXX with him, and that's why he even wanted to get the injection in the first place.
Yes.
So big motivating factor. Only 15% survival rate. He survived. Our boy is a god.
I would like to point out, just because I'm thinking about it right now, that he gets part of the episode is that basically the driving force for all this is the fact that Hiro forgot about the promise that he made to Mitsuru. In this we see this in flashbacks that he broke or forgot about the promise he made to Mitsuru to pilot a FranXX when they got older together. And we find out later in this episode that's just not possible. And Mitsuru gets super angsty about this whole thing, and this is the whole driving force between behind all his character flaw of being this kind of lonely, self-serving. Not self-serving, but it doesn't get help from other people because it doesn't trust other people. Because of this one like promise that was forgotten that like wasn't even possible to be fulfilled, and also happened when he was like 9, and so shouldn't be a big deal anymore. I thought that was like all really dumb.
Yeah, it's very silly for having that as the character's main motivation. It really makes it hard for me to like Mitsuru, but good thing he's edgy anyways.
All right.
He's very edgy.
So we went in reverse order of what we said we were going to.
It's
Here's
fine.
my opinion on it.
Sorry.
I forgot we were doing that completely.
I just had a thing to say.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, one of the things that I was complaining about with this show is that it was too heterosexual, and in this episode we had gay. That's my
Yeah,
that's
but
my thing.
this episode
That's
is also
really my
like
thing.
really heterosexual and really heteronormative as well. Like on
yes,
top of that,
but yes,
with
the whole
the whole
series is.
fat boy and nice girl relationship.
Yes, fat boy.
I need to
is a
protect the
fedora-tipping
women.
incel.
Ugh.
And I hate him, and I was going to get to that.
Oh yeah. So Lucy, you actually mentioned the scene perfectly. The partner switching scene, where they're like, "Hey, let's have you guys switch up." I don't know why they wanted to do this. Maybe because of Mitsuru. They wanted.
Yeah,
I don't know. Plot convenience, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
because they
but,
could. Even
so
though
what-
they've been training their whole life to like
just be with one partner.
or just conditioned for that. But I mean, they constantly go back on that too. Like that happened early
They really
on with
do.
like the Ichigo Hero relationship and all
Yeah.
that, and like the importance of Hero and 02 being together. Whatever.
Yeah. Characters interacting in different ways is usually good for a series, but in the context of this show, makes it a little more weird. But I
It
don't
doesn't
blame
really
them for
make
using
sense.
that.
But in this scene, they bring up the glasses girl wants to try pistol on pistol piloting, which they never do. in this
No, they
episode?
try and they just fail immediately, and they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,
okay.
because
I
we knew
must
this
have
couldn't be done
blinked
all
and missed
along." That's what I was getting
Game-
at with like it's not possible to have Stamen on Stamen
Mhm.
piloting, because I'm assuming not
Gays
possible.
just
if
aren't
pistol on
allowed.
pistol isn't.
That's-
They're not allowed.
That's the
Like
show's
they've
trying to say.
hammered it into the universe that you need a boy and a girl to pilot a FranXX together. That's like you gotta have it.
This is like, I mean, it was really obvious before, but this is just shoving it in our face hardcore with this episode. Like, this is a hetero show. The beliefs
But
in it are
Edgy
hetero.
Boy has gay angst, dude. He wants to have hot gay sex with Hero, and he can't because the society won't let him, and Hero's straight.
Lucy, if that's the way you want to read this script to enjoy Darling in the Franxx, then I'm not gonna stop you.
Yeah.
But,
Actually,
but what I'm
feel
gonna
free.
say is that it's just bad writing.
Bad writing it may be, however, in the context of piloting FranXX being a metaphor for sex, I don't understand how any other way of reading what was going down there. He wanted to pilot with this other dude, and the other dude didn't understand why he would want that to happen, and the world wouldn't be okay with it anyways. I mean,
Sure.
you know?
Sure, metaphor for reality or whatever the fuck. I don't fucking know.
Art is
It was
subjective,
just shitty
kids.
writing.
But yeah, these matchups. So Ichigo and Glasses Girl tried to go girl on girl. It failed. Mitsuru and Kokoro, they actually like synced with each other. So I guess like for the rest of the episode, they just were like, switched partners completely. I thought it was just for like one thing, but
Yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
weird. It was pretty confusing at that part.
yeah. So Fat Boy got really upset with Mitsuru.
Oh, he was really upset.
Actually, really upset with the girl because he just Kokoro, because she like just promised him that they would like protect each other, or that
Yeah,
he'd be
I
able to
don't
protect
really
her
know
forever.
why she so nonchalantly like went back on that. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
it's not
dick
really
move.
explained, or like her character motivation for that is not really explained at all. But whatever, I
remember
guess.
when she was talking to Edgy Boy, she was like, "I'm not a nice girl" or something, and then I kind of zoned out. So maybe there was an explanation in that scene.
I should bring up real quick that like there has been many scenes in the flower garden with Mitsuru and Kokoro. So
Right.
I mean, Kokoro, if anything, has seen Mitsuru, popping pills, doing things, being quote unquote overtly self-reliant, being an edge boy. So I mean, the preparation was here, but it wasn't very obvious because I would just chalk that up to poor execution on part of the show. But
Yeah.
They're gay. Everything's gay. Actually, no, it's all straight. I lied.
No, there's a little bit of gay, dude. There's a little bit of gay. I
You know
mean,
what? Yeah.
yeah, that is like it's this, and there's gonna be something else later. There was just there were some big complaints that I was coming and blabbing on the show about, and they were addressed to some degree in this episode, and
What were those
made me feel
complaints
good.
and how were they addressed? I'm very curious to hear.
well,
About
I mean,
that.
we already fucking passed one of them, and we're coming up on the next one.
All right. We'll go to the next scene, which is emergency, red alert. Uh-oh, a new battle.
Whoa.
It just happens. Oh, there's an enemy approaching. Uh-oh, we gotta go.
Yes.
We gotta go. And the
And what's
partners are still
important-
switched.
What's important about this scene is that the monster is not in CGI.
Yo, this action, like honestly, so I say I really don't like this episode. This action scene was the best action scene in the entire
Yup,
series thus
that's
far.
what I was gonna bring up. This
Hands
action
down,
scene
the
looks
best
really
animation
good.
that this show has had yet. There are some really good cuts. I was very happy with
Indeed.
some of the fighting here.
And the monster actually looked pretty good. because it wasn't
The
in fucking
movement was really
CGI.
fluid and fun to watch. I am 100% assuming that was all Trigger because I don't think A1 has never proved to me that they could do kind of like that kind of movement ever.
I'm sure they're probably capable of it. It's just like, are they willing to put in the work? Most of the time, no. They are professional artists after all. But
There are plenty of shitty professional artists, fam. let that be
Some of them
known.
work for A1.
Yep.
oh yeah. So I just want to mention again with these with the just comment upon the animation and whatnot. I think it was overall better, but like I definitely noticed there was like a really fluid scene of like Kokoro's mech like doing some movement, like jumping forward or something, and it was like the most fluid thing ever. But then like everything else in comparison, it just is like horrible. So it has this random peak of this random jumping scene that was just like wasn't even like jumping to attack. It was just like moving forward towards the enemy, but like not close enough to
this
attack.
fight
It was
had some
weird.
fresh animation, and I was way about it. The Klaxtors weren't like. I mean, they probably were in CGI in some degree, but it wasn't that blatant. Like
It was done well.
blocky, kind of
Like
like
CGI
ugly
by
CGI.
nature
It was
isn't
very
bad.
fluid.
If it's done well
and
I'll
very
take it.
pleasant to look at the entire time, and I was very happy with it.
Yep. That's I mean pretty much everything that you said, Munzie, is what I was going to say. Is like another big complaint of mine is that the fucking monsters were ugly, and the fight scenes were janky and awful. And this fight scene, big old monster looked pretty cool, and the fight scene looked good.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I was just basically reiterating a point that could still apply to the battle scenes now. But I want to mention, since we're done with the animation, let's go into the actual scene where it turns out the kids are getting actually messed up in this fight, even though earlier they were established to just be better. Just be. Just
Yeah, it was a tough
significantly
fight. It was hard shit. They needed conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did
They
switch
needed
partners,
stakes.
so I'm not going to
it was
complain, honestly.
very clearly supposed to be like the relationship strain was causing the issue in this fight.
I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for them to like actually kill off a character to create stakes in any fight ever.
Oh, me too, bud.
That
I
would
just
be the
want
day.
character progression 20 times faster if they're not going to do that. I don't think they're going to do
I
that.
do.
So I just want.
I don't think we're gonna need either.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
that's none of my business. Sips tea like Kermit the Frog.
Oh Kermit, you fool! You have so much more podcast to go.
What?
You poor son of a bitch.
Oh boy. Yeah,
But,
we do have a lot more episodes.
What else we got in this episode? What other hot takes?
Oh, I would
like to mention, because we've talked a lot about Mitsuru. I find Mitsuru insufferable just because I can't. His like I can't empathize or sympathize with his character whatsoever. Like nothing he does just like makes me like feel for him in any significant way. He is like he's just a jackass that has like unjustified like motivations and actions.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so
it's
like,
all
not
based on
only-
bullshit. and it
as a
pisses me off.
jackass who has unjustifiable motivations and actions, I can relate to him somewhat.
Yeah, but like when the show is like trying to make me like empathize with that or like at least care about him as like a character that like should be important, I don't at all.
Yeah, I
because
was joking.
Like he's a bad character. Like
He's pretty bad character. I think there's some ideas there that I'm into. Like the
Yeah,
angst or whatever could be expanded upon in a way that I could be interested in. I mean, especially if they expose him as this. If they exposed him as like an entitled jackass who's projecting his problems onto other people, and we expanded on like those problems and how they motivated his actions, and we handled it in like.
you're asking way too much from
Yeah,
the show, Lucy.
And we handled it in a sort of complex and nuanced way. Yeah, it'd probably be a great character, or at least something close to that, but it's not what we have.
Yeah, I feel like you and me, Lucy, kind of like projected onto Mitsuru a little bit, and that's how we got a little bit more enjoyment out of him.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that's how people get away with this shitty writing, you know? Is like
Yeah.
you take the gaps and you can kind of fill it in on your own. And that's how people enjoy shitty art, like the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
Fan
Get
fiction.
wrecked, Harry Potter fans. Yeah, you were talking earlier about just earlier that they could you said how they can improve Mitsuru and take him in a better direction, but I just imagined the director like eating his Gerber applesauce. His baby food and looking at you, frothing at the mouth, sitting in his baby seat. That's what I imagine the director has.
I have
Take
no
him
idea what that
seriously.
means.
Such a vivid image you painted to no end.
I don't know what that means at all. But,
I'm saying that he's like literally retarded.
he's the intelligence of an infant.
Yes.
All right, I'll take.
Best-
I don't disagree with you, Vamp.
Best podcast on the internet. Trigger Boys right here. Where else are you going to get fucking art like what Vamp just said?
Yeah.
Oh. I love you guys. This is a good
Once a
podcast.
week, guys. Once a week, guys.
Once
we're here
every week.
time.
We're here every week for you to listen to for free. We do this for
Yeah.
free.
That's why I love the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if we had people pay for it, I'm sure there would be a way to get it for free.
Yep.
But hell yeah. So
I
we're
mean,
basically
you
like
do
there's only, like,
pay for the internet.
oh
That's
yeah,
true.
we do. Rest in peace.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, audience. I just downloaded like 3 games off of my favorite bay.
Holy
And
shit, that's illegal.
Oh, whoa. Somebody
Uh-oh.
call up the Jeff Thu fucking Enforcer Squad, Anti-Piracy Enforcer Squad. Woo-woo! 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 Ah! They're coming through the door.
What
They're breaking
happened?
down the
Hey,
door.
guys, quick question. What happened in this episode after what we just talked about? I don't know where the fuck we are now.
All right, we're basically still at the scene where Mitsuru and Kokoro are in the mech and they're desynced. And Mitsuru's like, how can you even trust anybody? How can you rely on anybody?
Yo, this is literally like a bedside fight, I would like to point out, if we're going on this sex theme.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I would like to say, and I think I've talked about this before, that I do believe that I've stopped mid-bedtime intimacy to have some sort of existential breakdown of relationships. So that's real. That happens. I've had that happen.
They got the strong sex metaphors going hard again.
Yep.
I imagine it as a pretty serious but like pillow talk all at the same time.
Mhm.
Pillow talk situation that's just serious. It's nice dark room. I'm actually watching the episode right now. I mean, I watched it earlier, but I have the video playing, and it was just on that scene. It's like it's all dark and stuff.
Yeah, and they shut off
so-
radio connection. They turn off their phones so they can have a real conversation, without
Yes.
distraction.
Yeah, those
Something millennials don't know how to do. This is a commentary on the millennial condition, right, Vamp?
Oh God.
Yes, just like everything else.
Oh.
That's so good. So yeah, just to wrap up the scene, like there was not much other than like, oh, I'm an emo, edgy. I don't trust people. And Kokoro's like, yeah, you probably should. People get hurt sometimes, People, even I the most innocent seeming one. Yes, I have broken a promise.
I
have
can be a
done
bad girl
things.
too.
Yeah.
God, what a normie.
I also did
Basically.
realize, because she got a lot of screen time this episode, I did realize she is my favorite character design. I think she's the hottest FranXX girl.
She
be-
looks like
to be honest.
Moogie.
Yeah, and I like Moogie, so
I hate Moogie. You
Yeah,
hear that,
that
Moogie
makes-
Pope? You hear that?
I don't
I
think
hate
Moogie Pope
Moogie, and I
listens to
hate
this
Moogie
podcast.
ripoffs even more.
Don't worry, Moogie. We'll at Moogie Pope. Moogie Pope will have to listen to hear the slander that we've done upon
Yes.
Moogie.
Burn
But,
me at the stake, Moogie Pope.
Yeah,
Yo, this is like a deep meme for people that have
This
no
is a
idea who
deep
Moogie Pope
fucking
is.
no
meme.
viewers are
Yeah,
gonna
might
know
listen
this
to
unless they're in our group's circles, anyways. So only
It's fine.
1%
Just
of our
fucking
audience
plow
will.
through. What
Alright.
the fuck? We're so far into this podcast. What else happened this episode?
There was a really good punch. There was a punch that happened.
That was
So
a good
after-
punch. It was a good punch.
It was
After
one
the-
punch. It was just
After
one
the fight's
punch.
over, once again we get some quick editing where it's just like, all right, fight. Obviously they won. Okay, there was something that happened kind of near the end of the fight where it was like, Edgy Boy's mech, Edgy Boy pushes through all his bullshit, and I remember he goes up to slay the monster, and then I was like, oh shit, finally he's gonna get the kill because this is his moment. And then it turned out that he was he basically got kill stealed by Hero and 02, and I was like, ooh,
Yo,
I
also,
hate
we
this
still have
show.
this
That's
edgy
right.
02 thing going on in the background of not explaining shit at all. We're
Just,
getting no
yeah,
context in this
It was stupid.
whatsoever.
Guys, keep watching so you can see what happens to 02
Yeah.
and Hero.
She was like, we don't need to communicate. You understand when you have your dick in my butt. And I was like, he clearly doesn't. And then that was kind of the end of it. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. It's
Yeah,
just, it's bad.
It's obvious that 02's feeling some sort of way and is thinking about stuff and she's just shutting Hero out and that's gonna come up in probably a few episodes.
Yeah, which
Guaranteed.
is, it's a weak meme because all it is that if she shuts up about it, then the writers don't actually have to write a conflict. They just
Yeah, maybe they just
imply
haven't
that
thought of
there's
it
a
yet.
conflict.
I mean, it's a bunch of just shitty foreshadowing.
It's like
and
Lost,
really
where they
annoying.
just wrote polar bears into the script without having an idea of how to deal with it later. There's it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting if there's polar bears in the script. Except the difference is that it's not interesting
Hot
and it just
takes
makes me
on
mad.
Lost.
Whereas in Lost, I was like, oh fuck, there's polar bears. That's cool. And in here, I'm just like, oh. The only moderately interesting character is now not saying anything for 2 episodes straight. Good job.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But that's none of my business. Sips tea like Kermit the Frog.
Oh boy. All right. So yeah, we got some quick cuts where it was just battle's over, cut to mechs being put away, cut to characters getting out of the mechs, and then our Fedoramancer, our chubby Fedoramancer who's been fucking blubbering about how, oh, by the way, there was a scene earlier that reminded me of you, Vamp, where the fat kid was crying and then fucking Shota Boy was like, you should stop crying and lose some fucking weight. I just fucking snickered, and I was like, that's Vamp. That's what Vamp
Hell
would
yeah.
say.
Hashtag screw fat people.
Also, at best guy ever, another fat shamer, calling you out, you'll fucking cuck. Anyways,
Whoa.
somebody cut that up and
the
said best guy ever.
aggression in this episode coming from Lucy is insane.
Anyways,
unprecedented,
Unprecedented.
never before seen levels of aggression from Lucifer over
am
here on this
upset
podcast.
about Best Guy Ever today. I'm like, I don't even.
Did
Anyways.
Best Guy ever like do anything in particular?
Not recently. But we'll
You're
talk
just
about this
hating
later.
on him in particular.
Yeah, it's just been on my mind. Anyways, so there's a good punch where this our incel Fedoromancer cuck comes up, fucking punches.
He really is a cuck.
Yeah, he punches Mitsuru in the face, and then it looks really good. It's like, whoa! Like I saw a bunch of shading and some detail of the punch, and it was just like a little moment of Saku, and I was like, whoa, that looks good. And then just kind of went back to looking shitty, and he was like, "Wait, to do the punch." He's like, That's how Mitsuru sounds to me. And then the fact it was like, and then I think the episode ended or something.
Yeah. More that hetero propaganda, as you would say, just from our
Yes.
fat dude, and then it's literally like Mitsuru basically saying he's kind of learned his lesson, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
like
even
walking
know-
into like an empty like room or something.
Yeah, I don't
It seems
even know
childish because he was like, "There, I'll protect her. Is that what's gonna make you happy? Is that what you want?" Like, just like, so petty. Like,
Earlier in
I-
the episode, Fat Boy wanted Mitsuru to promise to protect Kokoro since they like partner swapped, and so it comes back to the end of this episode where it's like punches him and it's like, oh, now he promises.
Right.
Ugh.
I don't even know if the stuff with the fat kid being a Fedoromancer is even propaganda, because the show seems to take an entirely neutral stance on it. Like, it doesn't paint him out as a hero for doing
Definitely.
that. He's kind of
Yeah.
like, he looks a little pitiful and shit, because he's like crying all the time. He's no white knight in this situation.
it was really fucking annoying, actually.
But he's not being criticized for it either. The show seems to just not care.
Yeah, it was really annoying for me.
Yeah. I wish the show would make
every
a
time he
statement
cried, I
about
was
it.
like, I don't care.
Oh yeah,
really
and
do
it
not
was
care.
Like, he was just
And it's the same
crying
thing.
Every scene that got fucking girl was not
Yeah.
right
And
his dick.
This is gonna for people who listen to this episode of Trigger, or to listen to Trigger Boys every single week when we put out an episode. This is gonna sound really redundant. It's just like it can't leave my mind. It's just like, it's annoying because I don't give a fuck about this character, because I've never had a reason to care, because it's been like shit tier from day one. Like,
Right.
and it sounds redundant, but that's because it's the same issue. It's like, and this is why, like, I don't know, maybe I come off as just whiny a lot in these episodes. And because like this show, like I hate this show and I don't want to be watching it, but like I've committed to doing a podcast about it. So like now, like I just have to reiterate the same points about like why this show is bad. And it's just because like it started off bad and hasn't done anything to fix itself, and it's kind of dug itself into too big of a hole to like repair,
So here's some anti-heteronormative propaganda here. This show is why marriage is stupid, because you should never fucking dedicate yourself to do a thing for a very long period of time when you know that it's very possible that you're eventually going to learn to not like it. But you know what? We're going through with our divorce anyway, or we're going through with our marriage anyways. We're doing it for the kids, because here we are, even though it's only questionably interesting and questionably good content, and we're all suffering.
Yeah.
Fuck marriage.
We're all masochists. That is
This podcast is pretty good, though. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Oh God. What else do we have to say? I feel like I had so much more to say about this episode going in, but
There's
I
an
really
Ava
don't
reference.
anymore.
Ava reference.
Is there an Ava reference? Where's the Ava reference at?
There's a second after the Kokoro Mitsuru scene where they're like, "Oh, I'm edgy. Oh, maybe you shouldn't be so edgy, and you should rely on people." Blah blah blah. That when that scene's over, for some reason, like Kokoro tries to like pilot the mech or something, and like something happens, glitch or something, and like the face of the mech turns into like a like mouth.
Oh yeah,
that you'd see from like an
Yeah.
Ava.
she tries to do
mech.
stampede form.
Yeah, That's some
That was
Eva
whatever.
shit. Remember,
So
this show is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
It is a
Remember that.
fresh Neon Genesis Evangelion. Somebody call up Joji Matthews to do some analysis on it.
Lucy,
Yes,
this episode for
Doge.
you has been nothing but calling out YouTubers that you don't like. That is all this has been.
I'm just doing hot
you.
takes in my fucking Discord groups.
Jesus Christ.
All these shots
boy.
fired. How do you have so much
Holy
ammo? Have you
I
been
have-
holding on to this?
I have even
been
more
stockpiling?
ammunition, kid. Oh, I got so much ammo. I got so much beef to fill my stomach.
Lucy, save that for the AnyTuber roast cast.
Oh shit, are we doing that?
I
Oh,
don't
shit.
fucking know.
are
That's just
now.
a meme I do to shut you up sometimes.
It's on the table, guys. It's on the table.
on
So
the
guys, keep following the
table.
Trigger Boys. So you might get some like hot drama. You know, we're gonna take
Yes.
shots at a lot of people.
Drama
maybe
cast.
if we do it. Yes.
This'll be good.
Perfect. Any last thoughts on this episode? You
Oh.
want to give it any ratings or anything for this episode?
Well, 2 out of 10.
I rate this episode. Digibros content has gone downhill out of 10. That's what I'm. That's what I'm. No, actually, I would rate this episode like. I did. Like a 6 or something. Like a 6
I
or
was at-
7.
I was
It's
actually
pretty
gonna give it, like,
I
a
would rate
6.
this episode. This boss I'm fighting in Binding of Isaac right now is doing all the worst patterns, and I don't like it. Out of 10,
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac is a bad game.
probably.
Yeah. Whoever made it is bad, and they should feel bad for making it.
Florian.
Oof.
Oof. Oof.
Oh yeah, I was just complaining about that meme literally today. That wasn't I, and we just recorded it. God damn it!
All
Everybody
right,
who likes the
folks.
oof meme and uses the oof emote, kill yourself. Stop doing it.
Another
Whoa.
shot fired. I think we have to end this podcast, guys.
Before
because Lucy's
Lucy takes too many hot takes.
Oh
yeah, so at
Too
least
many
save
hot
those for
takes.
other Trigger Boys in the
Save all
drama
your hot
cast.
takes for later episodes. We're gonna
Oh,
run
I
out.
got-
It's
I
gonna
got
get
more.
stale.
Yeah, I'll spread
Yeah,
them out.
Yeah, you may have an armory, but trust me, you can get out of hand if you go crazy with it.
Fuck. I hope we get some angry fucking comments on this episode.
Oh, yeah. If don't be mean in the comments, guys. If it's over, I might ban you. So just be good.
Nope. Vamp.
Be reasonable.
Threatening to ban people over here.
Vamp
Damn.
the fucking comment section.
I know it kind of
dictator.
invites
Jeez,
people to be like ridiculous, but like, might as well get them out of the way.
Yo, this
I don't want
episode of
cancer.
Trigger Boys is ridiculous. So,
It's meta, like Undertale, which means it's art, right, guys? Also, hot plug for our Undertale cast came out just a few days ago. Go watch
Oh, yeah.
that.
I'm not on it.
Yeah,
By the way,
Munsey's not
this
on
is
it.
Lucy and Vamp. I
Yep.
haven't played Undertale. I'm a scrub boy.
That's all right.
I'm not an under boy. I'm a Trigger boy.
Facts.
But we're Trigger Boys as well, so we have multiple titles. We have all the power. Now let's
yeah.
end it. Let's end this the podcast. It's going on way too
Bye
long.
bye.
Bye-bye.